Welcome to Power Fridays Live, the channel that aims to make a difference in the world through transformation, spiritual growth, and for entrepreneurs. Our vision is to empower individuals to live their lives with purpose and to make a positive impact on the world. We believe that power and purpose are the driving forces behind success and fulfillment in both personal and professional life. Through our broadcast, we discuss business strategies and techniques that can help entrepreneurs achieve their goals and take their business to the next level. We believe that through sharing knowledge and experience, we can empower each other to succeed and make a difference in the world. Now here's our host, Janelle Pulley.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to Power Fridays Live. I'm your host, Janelle Pulley, and I'm so excited that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for being here on this Friday, the 13th. It's a wonderful day. And tonight I have with me a special guest, Joyce Keller, a financial professional and educator. Welcome, Joyce. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing absolutely awesome, fantastic. Love it that you invited me to your show. I'm looking forward to what we're going to share this evening.
Thank you so much for being here. It's my pleasure. I am so excited to have you join us this evening as it is the month of September, which is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And if you want me to play this quick video here as we get started, I can do that, and we'll kick it off and get started in an awesome conversation to learn more about you and how you're making a difference for families with financial literacy education. Does that sound like a good place to start?
Sounds like a plan. Let's go.
Okay, very great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Very good, very good. So that is a beautiful video.
Yes. A little informative, give people a little bit of information to just start thinking.
Yes. So Joyce, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. First of all, my name is Joyce Keller. I was born in Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas. I grew up in Chicago, Windy City. I was an all around gymnast, won second place in the city my senior year of high school. And I moved to Georgia after college, going in Michigan. I have a finance degree. I thought I knew a lot about money, only to find there was a lot I didn't know I didn't know. I'm married. I've been 11 years. I have one son, one awesome grandson, and I work corporate America for 25 plus years. Had a great career, but still yet did not prepare me. And that's why I do what I do now. My mission and goal is to educate families about how money works, how to have the money work for them. I know tonight we're going to talk about life insurance, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Joyce. You and I are similar in the background. So you grew up in West Memphis, Arkansas, which was like an hour away from where I grew up in Missouri. So I was like, oh my gosh, homegirl. My dad was born in Arkansas, and my grandparents
Well,
and
actually, I grew up in Chicago, so
right,
that was
growing up
the
in Chicago. Yeah, you were born in Arkansas. So was my dad. And I
okay.
grew up an hour away from West Memphis because I used to go to Memphis and Memphis as a child.
Wow.
So now I know exactly where you were born. So small world, as they say, small world. Well, your experience in corporate America, and you say having a finance degree, you don't, you shared you don't know what you don't know. Can you share with us a little bit about your experience being in corporate America and as an entrepreneur? What the differences that you face as an entrepreneur?
Okay. Well, in corporate, of course, everything is, you go to your job, you learn your job. You have to be there a certain time. You have someone to keep you accountable. If you don't show up, there are immediate consequences from your boss. Your ability to move up the chain or the ladder of success is not dependent so much on you, but dependent on what someone else thinks about you and how you move up the ladder. Being an entrepreneur, it is a different life in the sense that you are the creator, the possibility maker, and the one that drives how things are going to go. As an entrepreneur, there is no ceiling and there's a lot of freedom. You can create a lifestyle that's not possible in the public sector or working for a job. One, for instance, my mother in law had to have surgery. I was able to be with her for a month and it not impact my business. But working a job, I could not do that because she lives 4 hours away from me. So I couldn't be in two places at once. Also, as an entrepreneur, being able to travel and travel the world is it's crazy that we live our whole life and we work a job and we make good money. Some of us make really good money, travel, have a corporate card, and then we become an entrepreneur and find that there's a whole new life that we didn't even know that was available. I travel more personally with my family than I have my entire 25 years plus with corporate. And I've been an entrepreneur now for a little over 6 years, and I'm loving every minute of it now. It does have its ups and downs. It is not gravy train. It is hard work. But guess what? When I worked corporate, I worked really hard. I worked, 50, 60 hours a week, not having my weekends to myself. So I may as well do it for myself. I tell people, either way is hard, choose your hard.
I love it. I love it. Either way is hard, but choose your heart. Oh, I love it. So I'm so glad that you chose financial services and coming from a background of finance. I love that 30 by 30 financial literacy campaign. We are on a mission. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. We are originally we had our goal was 1 million, and we met that in 2020 in spite of COVID. But after 2020, our new mission and goal is to educate 30 million families by 2030. And why? Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to take on such a huge task? And it is a big task, is because we believe that financial education is not an option, it's a necessity. More and more people are in debt. More and more people are passing away without properly being protected, having to do GoFundMe. Families are losing the life they thought they were going to have in lifestyles because we're not properly insured. And there's a lot about insurance. A lot of people feel that they know everything already, but we have to go through licensing. And it's not an easy task either. There's a lot to learn. And even once you get licensed, there's even more to learn. So if you're out there and you have a policy, that is beautiful, wonderful. But sit with someone like myself and have them review your policy because things have changed probably since you bought that policy. The insurance industry has changed over the years. So there are new things out there. There are more things that could be beneficial to you than what you already have. And if you're like me, nothing against term, but I didn't understand what I had. And later in life, I became a type 1 diabetic, and now I cannot get a permanent policy. So we'll talk more about that as we go on.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that tidbit. And I know a lot of people just, I had to post a GoFundMe this past week, a
Mm.
a tragic death and from a family member, 23 years old, two little girls. I mean, two young children. I'm not sure if the, in the family, and 23 years old, no life insurance. And it was like $10,000 was the request on GoFundMe, but I'm just like, wow. Yeah, I wish I had have gotten to that family member in time before something like this would have happened, because now there's two children, and there's another conversation to have about the guardianship. Because you never know you with the day nor the hour, and to be so young to be taken from this earth, that's even more, terrible. And I know that there's a difference in mindset for young people in coming out of high school, coming out of college, and parents in reference to, their young people. What would you say to a parent, being a parent yourself, and about the importance of having ensuring the life of your child, given the climate in America now?
The one thing well, a couple of things I would say about that is that the earlier that you get your children insured, the better. Again, we never know when a child is going to have a illness or a disease or something happens. You actually can get a child insured at 15 days old. And my grandson, I have a grandson now as well. Before he was 3 months old, he has a policy, but the policy is not for his death. The policy is for his life. The policy is for his future. And that no matter what happens, of course, we pray to have him very, very long on this earth. But whatever happens in his life, he'll have the finances, first of all, to be able to do what he needs to do. If, it's hard to lose a child. Unfortunately, we had a grandmother. She got a policy for her granddaughter, and she had a policy about a year and a half. And unfortunately, this 10-year-old got hit by a van and and was killed. Now, this child was in the hands of her grandmother and walking home from school. So just think, your child's child is with you, you're responsible, and they pass away. The mental that you go through to deal with something like that. And even though that insurance policy was for her future, it will also help the grandmother grieve so she doesn't have to worry about how she's going to pay bills or do different things. Because you go through something very traumatic when you lose a child, but even more so a grandchild. So all those grandparents out there, just imagine, if that happened on your watch, you would not be any good. I know I would not be. Having to look at my son and my daughter-in-law. So it's very difficult. So our children need to be insured, not just for death, but for life. And
Yes.
we'll get maybe into more of that, what that looks like. But yeah, definitely insure your children as quickly as possible.
Yes, quickly as possible. My niece, she's expecting now, and I shared with my brother. I said, "Hey, she has the 1 year old. He just turned a year old a couple of days ago, and so we're super excited." I was like, "But do you have life insurance on your grandson?" And he's like, "Nope." I said, "Does she have life insurance on her son?" He says, "Probably not." And that is just heart wrenching for me as a sibling or as an aunt and as a great aunt to know that, hey, my family, it starts at home first. I believe sweeping around your own front door before I sweep around someone else's. And that regard, so I'm like, well, what do we need to do? He's like, well, I got to open up a bank account just so that money can come out. And I was like, that's a smart thing to do, to not want the money to come out of your regular bank account, to set up a whole nother bank account so that that money can go directly paid to the insurance company, and it doesn't interfere with any of the other expenses of the household. So I can, give him credit for making that choice, making that decision to make sure his money's not commingled, and making sure that that policy is paid,
Mhm.
every month, on in, as it should be. And you said something very important earlier regarding the your grandchild and having a policy on your grandchild. And you said it's not for their death, it's for their future. What do you mean by that? Well, how can you have a policy for someone and it's not for their death, but it's for their future? What does that really mean?
Well, when we're looking at a child that young, and you start factoring the time value of money, that child has a lot of time for money to grow. In cash value life insurance, more specifically the index universal life, because it is not in the market. Um, First thing, their cost of insurance is very low, so you can save a lot of money up front for them. And by the time he gets 18, there's money there for a car, there's money there for, depending on how aggressively you save, there's money there for college. Even if they get a full ride, there's certain things you can do other plans to save money for college for your children. But if they get a full ride or they don't go to college, you use that money for something else, you're going to pay taxes on that money. The money in index universal life insurance, you don't pay tax. Saving money right now, my son and myself, we both put money in that policy monthly. And rather than buying him all the things that he's not going to even care about, every month I'm contributing to his life and contributing to his future. So that's what I mean. And there's some different things to look at depending on, because some children, and strangely, I have had 7-year-olds get declined.
Mm.
Yeah, so children can get declined. So if you think they have time, some children, they go through some, and a lot of times kids start going to school. The first thing they want to deem them is ADHD, or they want to call that they have some kind of disorder or some kind of this, or they're talking to a psychologist or whatever. They ding them for that when you're trying to get life insurance for them. So
Oh,
before they even get
wow.
into all those kinds of things, you get them covered. So no matter what happens in their lifetime, they have this policy for life. So yeah, I've had a 7-year-old get declined for depression. She don't have
Oh,
depression. She's just sad. But they
oh
still they yeah,
no.
yes. So
That just
yeah,
hurts
there's
my
there's,
heart.
there's a lot of things involved. Yeah, it is. It was heartbreaking. But hopefully we'll go back later once she gets a little bit older and she's not, having, go through that process, and then finally she'll get her covered. But when you know these things and you sit with someone that knows all the back ins and outs about how this works, they can help you and figure out what's best for you and your family, for your children and your grandchildren.
Yes, definitely, because I'm amazed at that story, because I do know a lot of people and even adults, they're like, "Oh, yes, I'm ADHD." And I'm just like, "Okay," or I have anxiety and things of that nature. And, I had someone reach out to me and they're like, "Well, I have anxiety." And I'm just like, "Well, what medication are you on?" First, in trying to get questions answered. But it's so sad to know that it's very important to get insurance on children when they're young before a diagnosis happens. And we
Mhm.
don't like to hear that our children are sick. However, it's the reality of the situation, that we're dealing with that potential client. And how can we, as a parent, and as a family member, support our family members in knowing about what you offer?
So the first thing that we do, while like I say, I'm not just an insurance agent. I'm a financial professional and educator. So one of the first things we do is what we call a financial checkup, because we all go to the doctor for our annual bodily checkup, for our teeth, our eyes, and all those things, but we never do a financial checkup. That financial checkup is designed to see what is going to work best for you and your family, because we think we have enough money to do this, that, and the other. And we're not really looking at everything, because we look at, oh, it's just $100. Oh, it's just $20. Next thing we know, we have all these 20s and $100 building up. So we want to make sure that whatever we do for the client is affordable and suitable. Not only that, we're going to also look at the debt, look at the emergency fund and investing, because we have to look at the whole house. If we notice, there's lots of people out there that are struggling financially. Financial services has been around for hundreds of years, over 100 years, and people are not benefiting. Why are we not benefiting? Why are we not further ahead on this course, or as I like to call, on the money game? Is because we have to look at the whole house, not just one piece. And most professionals, they specialize in one area. So just like you build a house, you don't just specialize and just have someone come and do the electrical. What about the plumbing? What about the foundation, the roofing? You have a team of people working together to build that house. And you need a team of people or one person that does everything holistically to build your financial house.
I totally agree, Joyce. Thank you so much for being that professional and educator and the financial professional that people need to know what they should do when it relates to their personal finances and their financial future for themselves and their families. And I know that we created this website where a person can go to called thewealthygap.org. If you go to thewealthygap.org, you can complete Joyce's form. Can you tell us a little bit about the information available on thewealthygap.org, Joyce, with your form?
Yeah. So, well, the first thing I also want to talk about, didn't mention estate planning. You worked hard all your life and built up whatever you've built, and you've accumulated whatever assets you have. Without proper estate planning, if you didn't know, it doesn't automatically go to your spouse, depending on what state you live in. It also will not exit probate. You will have to go to probate for these things. So, estate planning and also Social Security. When I say holistic, I'm talking about the whole picture. So even down to your Social Security, how will that impact your retirement along with the other things that you have? I know there's a big conversation going on right now is to eliminate having to pay taxes on your Social Security. But currently, depending on what other income you have, you will have to pay taxes on your Social Security. As well as far as the wealthygap.org, that's actually a survey. On this survey, it just gives me some information about what's important to you. It gives me some idea of a little bit, maybe what you know or don't know, and also the option of being able to reach out to me so that I have information to reach out to you to have a further conversation, personal, and also get you connected to our workshops. Our workshops are a wealth of information. They are complimentary. I don't say free because it does take your time. Time is a huge commodity. One thing I've learned as being an entrepreneur is that wealthy people don't really focus on money. They focus on time, because time is your greatest asset. And how you use it will determine whether you will be wealthy or whether you will struggle. So I do acknowledge everyone's time, and your time is important. And our workshops are about 1 hour long, but it gives you a baseline of different areas in a subject that you can begin your financial education and start asking questions you hadn't thought about asking them before.
Okay, great. And so, just to highlight your workshop, for instance, and it's complimentary, what are the types of questions that people most ask whenever they attend your workshop? Without, any personal identifiable information, what do you find that people are most wanting to know more about?
One of the biggest things that people get really excited about when we show them saving $6.60 a day can impact your finances. We show people how to take an extra $100 and shave off, 10 to 13 years off your debt, depending on where you are as far as your debt goes. Just an extra $100. And people want to know, how can they save more? People want to know, how can I keep more of my money? People also want to know is, how does taxes impact, where I put my money? Or sometimes people don't even realize how taxes are impacting where they put their money. So now they're getting into that conversation and getting interested in how our tax is going to impact me. And I talk about something, Paul, you want to diversify your taxes. I know you probably never hear that. You hear diversify your portfolio, but never diversify your taxes. And depending on where you put your money is going to determine how much of that money that you worked hard for and saved, how much of it is going to go back to Uncle Sam. And we want to be able to help you to keep more of your money by you becoming your own money manager. So when you talk to these financial professionals, your money, no one's more interested in your money than you. So it will behoove us to really take note and start watching who's watching our money and are they doing the best for us. But when you don't know, you just have to hope that it's going to be okay. Well, as we talk about in our business, hope is not a strategy.
I totally agree with you. Hope is not a strategy, but sitting down with Joyce Keller, that's a great start to begin so that she can help design a strategy specifically for you. And I encourage you to share this, thewealthygap.org, and complete that survey so that Joyce can get some information from you and be able to follow up with you accordingly and to support you in growing your money, protecting your money against taxes, and of course, saving your money for the future. And I know that it's been a lot going on when it comes to inflation, Joyce.
Oh,
So I went to the grocery store and I got 25 items and I spent 80 bucks. I went to a low price grocery store, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I only got 25 items and $80? What? How long is this food going to last?" Some people are dealing with the budget. I had someone approach me today, and they were like, "Hey, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, and it's going to be this, it's going to be that." And I said, "Well, it's not in my budget this month for me to do that. And let me take a look and review what I have, because as we all know, you must practice what you preach." So I don't want to make any impulsive decisions, but when I go to the grocery store, sometimes I make that impulsive purchase. How do you help people when it comes to inflation? Or can you help
like I
people
said,
when it comes to inflation?
well, first of all, help people to understand the impact and how it's impacting their ability to buy goods and services. Um, Most people, they just see things are going up and they need more money. So first thing is getting educated. That's the purpose of our workshops. Even when we sit down and do the personal financial strategy and we start to look at what do you have left, what are you spending your money on, where is it going, because inflation is something that's not going away. It's not, and it's something that we have no control. The other way we help people with inflation is you have to have your money earning some interest, some rate of return. If none of your money is earning money or you have no assets, there is no way you can beat inflation, not to mention taxes, those two together. So that's one of the other things we have people start looking at. We have something that's called the wealth formula. You got to have some money. You got to give that money time to grow. Don't expect to save $100 a month and next year you want to start taking money out. Money does not work that way. And we help you to understand and learn how money really works so that you can make better decisions around your money. Now, I know a lot of us out there have made some great decisions, but what would it be like if you can make decisions like the top 10%? And you're making millions or you're saving millions, because the
Yes.
United States is the best. I know we have our problems, but the United States is the best place to be a millionaire or to be a multimillionaire. And when I first started being an entrepreneur, I wasn't thinking millions because my mindset wasn't really there. You know, at one point I thought $100,000 was great, but now I really can see how $100,000 a month is better than annually. So as you begin
Yes.
to educate yourself and as you begin to come to the workshop, your vision will start to stretch. Your mind will start to see, and we'll start living just like biblically it said that we're to live in abundance. And when we're not living in abundance, we're not following the word because
Mhm.
that's what it says. We most likely live in scarcity. So if we're living in scarcity, that means we're not really trusting and we don't really understand, our role in this world. because when you don't have anything, you can't help the next person. So I'm not talking about abundance just for you to be lavish, or I know the scriptures talk about gluttony, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about having the kind of financial independence that you can be of service and help others. There are truly some people out there that really don't have it, and they may need a GoFundMe or they may need something. So if you're in a position to help and it's not going to strain you, then now you're not only being abundance for yourself, but you're being abundance for others around you. And that's what it's about. As an organization, we give to charity. We have given over 2.4 billion in charity since 2020. And we're not a company, we're individual financial professionals that give monthly so that other people can have clean water. So it's there are big things going on. We just want to play our small part, but it turns into a big part when you have hundreds of thousands of people behind you, just like this 30 million we want to create.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Joyce. And yes, the scripture does say a lot. And even in Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you. And I'm just going to leave it right there, plans to prosper you and give you a hope, and give you a future, and a future of abundance. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because the mindset is very important when it comes to money, and dispelling all of your money conversations that you had growing up. I'll never forget, my godfather came, and he knew we had money. Me, my sister and I, our birthdays are like 13 days apart, and we each got like $1 for our birthday money. And this is way back in the day when the dollar could go a long way. You get in penny candy. And he says, "Well, if you give me your dollar Monday, I'll bring back $2 on Friday." Well, she gave him his dollar. She thought it through and said, "I'm going to give you." And she got two on Friday. I went to my room where I had put my talent, buried my talent, and came and brought, "Hey, I have my talent. Will you give me $2?" And he's like, nope, the deal's done. So that crushed me as a young child. That's my money story. So you can only imagine that whole saving money, burying my talent where I couldn't get more. She used her talent and she doubled her money at the end of the week. So, hey, I lived that parable. So I just wanted to share that. And I know that it's very important to continue to educate people. And I want people to be educated and to attend some of your workshops, Joyce. And those who, if you're listening tonight, please do share this program. And please do share with someone. Hashtag replay. Subscribe to Power Fridays Live. I encourage you to do so, and share this conversation with a friend, because Joyce is here to shed some light on how the company, in being a financial educator, has supported her in her personal life and professional life, and also helped others and helped families. And not to give anything away too much, Joyce, you know and of course, we protect people's personal information. Can you shed some light on someone that you've recently helped, without the names and things of that nature, and how you make a difference in people's lives? Can you just share with us at least one of those stories?
Yeah. I have two that I will share. One actually was my brother. He had two massive heart attacks, and he was also a heart transplant recipient. So first of all, it's like, who's going to insure him? So he did find out about this information late, but we still were able to get him insured. And he had his heart for for 11 years. They give them 10 years. He had his heart for 11 years. And unfortunately, he did pass. The heart gave out. And the being able to get him covered, because the reason why that's significant is because if I had not ran into this business and started these workshops and then made this my mission, he wouldn't have had any coverage at all. He wouldn't have had any quality of life. Because of what we do here, this isn't just about money. It's about quality of life and given purpose to life. And he was able to change his whole financial situation, get his own place, his own car, his own bank account. And toward the end of his life, he had done a lot to be able to change his life around. He had a policy that took care of his services and a few thousand for his son, but none of that would have happened if I hadn't taken on helping others. The other is I'm also a Social Security registered analyst, and I had a friend of mine had a husband that passed away. She was already remarried, and I was just practicing. And what we found is that she could have actually um, applied for the ex-husband's what you call survival benefits, which would
Hmm.
have given her an extra $1,000 a month. And the
Wow.
reason she could do that is because she remarried after 60. So
Oh.
in Social Security, there are 2,700 rules and exceptions to those 2,700. So when I say the information here is life changing, it has been life changing for myself. I have type 1 diabetes. I don't always have good energy. Working a job for someone, I have to be there every day, day in and day out. It's just not gonna work. Most women at my age in my family are on disability. I refuse to be on disability because I life and the head have more in store for me. And I'm
Mhm.
here for a mission and a plan to be able to help others. So this business and what I do gives me purpose to get up every day. How I'm here with you tonight and being able to share this information, you never could tell that there was anything going on. But I am so driven by this mission to educate 30 million by 2030. It has me do remarkable things. Most people don't know how I do what I do, and I don't either. But all I know is I'll be doing it until I cannot.
Yes, yes, yes. And I tell people, they ask me the same thing. How do you do what you do? I say, it's all things through Christ Jesus. Okay. And that's what I'm going to share with you. That's how we do it. Okay. All things through the strength that we get from where we seek strength from. And I want people to know how to reach you, Joyce, because it's very important what you do and how you've helped families. And I'm so glad that you can share the story about your brother, about yourself, about the young lady who was able to get an extra income in having a conversation with you. Who would know that, hey, I have money I'm leaving on the table over here because I didn't know I could pick it up? Yes, we need to talk to you. We need to have a consultation and we need to either email you or call you. Can you share with us your contact information?
Yes, as it's showing here on the screen, my email address is time is now. Get it? 411 at gmail.com. The time is now. We don't have any other time than right now. And my phone number is 404-713-7781. Also, if you click on the other link that will go to the other website, that you will do the survey, the wealthygap.org, that will also give me information and I will reach out to you. Either way, let's have a conversation. If not for yourself, someone that you know, someone that this can actually make a difference for. Um, that's all I ask. We just want to share information. What you do with it is up to you. But I really believe that we don't want to just give you information. We want to help you apply that information because most times that we don't do the things we do is because, unfortunately, lack of discipline. We all know how to lose weight, but how many of us have trouble? If we have a if we have a partner to work with, we're more inclined to get it done because we know if I said Janelle, okay, we're gonna go to the gym, like, oh man, I gotta get up because Janelle gonna be there. I can't leave her there by herself, or vice versa. We tend to do things for other people quicker than we do for ourselves. So put yourself in a position where you're partnering with someone or helping someone get this information that it can make a difference, not just for today, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about for the next generation. The next generation is coming. Ask yourself, was the previous generation better off than the one after it? What does the generational lines look like? And if it's not looking like how you think it should, it's time for us to do something about it. First, get yourself educated, get understanding, and take action.
I think that is a beautiful place to start, and taking action is where we need to start. And first, I would like to share: choose to make a difference for yourself and your family. Make that choice. Make that choice today. Log on to the wealthygap.org, complete the survey for Joyce. And I'm an advocate for this conversation because I just lost someone dear, a family member near and dear to me, and tragic drowning. He had life insurance. However, if he had accidental death and dismemberment with it, it would have paid more. But that's just that knowledge that was missing from that conversation, and that's knowledge that Joyce, by looking at what you have now with the life insurance policy, and can do that free policy, the complimentary, I'm sorry, complimentary policy review for you, because not all things are created equal, as we know, and we don't know what we don't know. But please do reach out to Joyce and find out, well, what is it that, am I good? Am I good? I want to be good. We want you to be good. So make sure that you're better than good. I always like to say better than good. And Joyce,
Absolutely.
do you have any final words as we close out? This has been a great conversation. We probably need a part two, and we have the rest of this month to support people. I really love your mission: 30 million people by 2030 with your financial literacy campaign. What words of encouragement can you leave us with?
One thing I do want to say about life insurance, a lot of people look at, like, that's the title of the podcast tonight. Life insurance is not just a death sentence. Life insurance now comes with living benefits. A lot of people are living a lot longer. It's not going to be unusual for us to live to age 100. So heart attack, stroke, cancer, all these things come into play. Life insurance will pay you while you are alive to help you deal with your bills, the medical, or just your bills at home. Additionally, long-term care is something new that's added to policies. You don't have to get a separate policy in order to be covered by long-term care. How many of you have someone that may be living in a nursing home, or someone knows someone that they're taking care of a family member because they can't take care of themselves anymore, and they're trying to run their own household, work a job, and take care of a sick loved one? Let's do better and be able to protect ourselves, so at least we have the income we need to have those things taken care of, so we can enjoy our loved ones to age 100. A century. We can do that with all the technology advances. And thank you all for your time and attention. They're yours. We don't take them lightly. And we really acknowledge you for taking time to listen to this conversation. I hope you will take it further than just listening, and take action and share it with the next person. Each one, reach one, teach one, so that we can hit this 30 million by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. And I am so excited to be part of your mission and supporting you and helping you get this conversation out to the masses. And thank you so much for joining us on Financial Power Fridays Live. Be, do, and have the greatness that you desire, because the greatness is in you. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. And we'll see you next week on another episode of Financial Power Fridays Live. Thank you, Joyce Keller, for joining me this evening. It's been a pleasure. Have a great evening.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having
everyone.
me. Good night.
Good night.